December 19, 1944. In a frigid conference room in Verdun, France, 16 top Allied commanders huddled against the biting cold, their breaths forming misty clouds as the Battle of the Bulge exploded just 50 miles north, the deadliest clash the U.S. Army would ever face. The 101st Airborne Division clung desperately to the crossroads town of Bastogne, encircled by German forces, their supplies dwindling under relentless siege. Supreme Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower scanned the room with steely resolve, cutting through the tension like a knife. "This isn't a disaster," he declared firmly. "It's our chance to strike back." Eyes turned to the map, where a massive German bulge scarred the Allied lines, threatening to split their forces and seize Antwerp. Bastogne was the linchpin 7. Vital roads converged there, and losing it would hand the Nazis a highway to victory. Eisenhower zeroed in on Lieutenant General George S. Patton, Jr., the audacious commander of the Third Army. "George, how soon can you pivot north and hit them hard?" Patton rose, his presence commanding the room, and pointed at the map with unshakable confidence. "I can attack with 3 divisions in 48 hours. Gasps echoed. Some chuckled in disbelief. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, the cautious British leader, insisted on at least a week to prepare. Even Patton's old friend, General Omar Bradley, stared in shock. Patton's entire army of 250,000 men faced east toward Germany, entangled in brutal winter combat. Redirecting them 90 degrees through blizzards and ice seemed suicidal, yet Patton's eyes burned with certainty. This was the story of how one man's bold gamble turned the tide of the war's darkest hour. Just a day earlier, on December 18th, Bradley paced his headquarters in Luxembourg City, poring over frantic reports as German panzers shredded the Ardennes forest region. Allied intel had dismissed as impassable for a major assault. Over 200,000 enemy troops and 1,000 tanks had obliterated the thinly manned American, the 8th Corps, scattering divisions in chaos. Communications severed, entire units vanishing in the fog of war. Bradley grabbed the phone and dialed Patton, whose Third Army was surging east across the Saar River, on the cusp of a breakthrough into Germany. "George, hold up, troubles brewing north," Bradley warned, detailing the catastrophe. He demanded Patton dispatch his 10th Armored Division immediately to stem the tide. Patton balked. Losing that unit would stall his hard-won momentum. "We've fought tooth and nail for this," he protested, but Bradley's tone brooked no argument. "It's critical. George, Ike's calling us all to Verdun tomorrow." Hanging up, Patton's mind raced. His G2 intelligence officer, Colonel Oscar Koch, had flagged German buildups in the Ardennes weeks ago. Warnings Patton had shrugged off since his army pointed elsewhere. Now, sensing the shift, Patton summoned his staff into the dim lamplight. "The Krauts have punched through the Ardennes, a full offensive. Ike might order us north to flank them." Skeptical glances flew, reorienting an army mid-fight in sub-zero snowstorms. Madness. But Patton barked orders. "Draw up 3 plans, one with 3 divisions, one with 4, one with 6, ready by dawn." As his officers scrambled over maps, calculating fuel, routes, and ammo for the impossible pivot, Patton envisioned not just defense, but a crushing blow to the overextended Germans. The opportunity hid in the crisis, and he aimed to seize it with lightning speed. That night, Bradley wrestled with doubt in his own command post. As head of the 12th Army Group, the Ardennes debacle landed squarely on him. He'd trusted intel, calling the forest a ghost front, stationing green troops there for easy seasoning. Now, those rookies were routed, and the blame stung. Meanwhile, Patton's team burned midnight oil, mapping narrow, icy roads clogged with refugees and wreckage, estimating the Herculean logistics, relocating 130,000 vehicles, artillery pieces, and supply trains across 100 miles of frozen hell. Fuel depots needed shifting, coms rewired, every unit from cooks to tankers briefed. The Ardennes winter was a beast. Temperatures plummeted to 10 below. Snowdrifts buried paths, frostbite gnawed at fingers. Yet Patton's iron discipline, forged through relentless drills, kept the machine humming. By morning, plans were crisp, contingencies ironclad. At Verdun, as commanders filed in, Eisenhower laid bare the stakes. Germans racing for the Meuse River, Bastogne under siege by the hour. The 101st had parachuted in just in time, holding the town with grim tenacity alongside stragglers from the 10th Armored. "We hold Bastogne, or they roll right through," Ike stressed. Patton's declaration of a 48-hour attack stunned the room. Montgomery scoffed at the reckless Yank bluster, proposing January 3rd at earliest for his northern push. Bradley whispered doubts to aides, but Patton doubled down. December 22nd, with the 4th Armored leading, 26th and 80th on flanks. "Orders are already cut." Eisenhower, balancing Allied egos, greenlit Patton's Southern Strike. As the meeting adjourned, Bradley cornered his friend. "You'd better pull this off. George, the whole war's watching." Patton grinned wolfishly. "We'll be in Bastogne by Christmas." What unfolded next etched itself into military lore as a masterpiece of audacity and precision. From December 19th onward, Third Army executed the Pivota, whirlwind of motion amid howling blizzards. Units disengaged from eastern fronts, wheels churning through slush, convoys snaking north in orchestrated chaos. Engineers cleared paths. MPs directed traffic at frozen crossroads like urban cops in a whiteout. Fuel trucks dodged breakdowns. Artillery batteries leapfrogged positions. Supply lines stretched taut but unbroken. The 4th Armored Division, Patton's spearhead battle-scarred veterans of Normandy's breakout, rumbled 150 miles in days. Tanks grinding over iced hills. Flanking them, the gritty 26th Infantry, fresh from Lorraine's mudbaths, and the steadfast 80th, Patton's Blue Ridge fighters, slotted into place. By December 21st, all 3 divisions massed south of Bastogne, poised like a coiled spring. Bradley, monitoring from afar, marveled at the feat. George has turned an army on a dime in a blizzard no one's ever seen the like. Casualties from the cold alone mounted, but morale surged under Patton's mantra, attack, always attack. He prowled the lines in his jeep, barking encouragement, ensuring no unit lagged. The Germans, fixated westward, where blindsided Patton's tempo disrupted their rhythm, forcing frantic redeployment. Dawn, December 22nd, Patton unleashed hell northward. The 4th Armored charged into the maw, Shermans clashing with Panther tanks on slippery slopes, infantry slogging through snow-laced woods riddled with German pillboxes. Fog shrouded the advance, grounding Allied planes. Artillery boomed blindly. Villages like Longville became killing grounds, house-to-house brawls, flames licking frozen timber. German 2nd Panzer Division dug in deep, anti-tank guns, barking, counterattacks, slamming flanks. Progress crawled, a mile here, yards there, bodies piling in crimson snow. Inside Bastogne, the 101st Airborne endured apocalypse. Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe, a bulldog of a leader, rallied his men. They've got us surrounded, the poor bastards. Ammo, rationed 2 scraps. Medics triaged in cellars amid screams. Food scraped from rations on the 22nd. A German envoy demanded surrender. McAuliffe scribbled reply, nuts, ignited defiant cheers. But reality bit hard. Without relief, doom loomed. Patton's columns inched closer. The 4th Armored S Combat Command B, under Colonel Creighton, Abrams, tanker legend with ice in his veins, pushing relentlessly. December 23rd brought a miracle. Skies cleared, unleashing Allied bombers to pulverize German lines. C-47s parachuted bundles of lifebullets, bandages, beans drifting like snowflakes into jubilant hands. The grind intensified. December 24th to 25th, Christmas in hell. Patton's troops battled through whiteouts, tanks bogged in drifts, infantry frozen to their rifles. German Volksgrenadiers and Fallschirmjägers hurled fanatical assaults, but American grit held. Abrams' task force, Shermans, half-tracks, and dogged foot soldiers smashed roadblocks. Dueling panzers at point blank, keep rolling, no matter the cost. Abrams urged over radios crackling with static. South of Bastogne, in Eisenhower, the final push erupted at 3 p.m. On December 26th, Cobra King, Lieutenant Charles Bogus, lead Sherman, roared up the highway, cannon blazing, infantry fanning, out to silence snipers. For miles of fury, shells whizzing, machine guns chattering, men falling in heaps. At 4:50 p.m., Cobra King burst through, Bogus waving an orange panel from the turret. 101st Engineers cheered wildly. They're here, Patton's here. The siege shattered. Convoys flooded in with hot chow, plasma, and ammo. Wounded streamed out on litters. Bastogne breathed again. Bradley got the flash. Relief achieved. Relief washed over him, mingled with awe. In 7 days, Patton had orchestrated the impossible pivoting in army, battling uphill through blizzards, cracking the encirclement. George, you did it, Bradley phoned, voice thick. Patton deflected. The 101st had it handled. We just kicked the door open. True enough, the paratroopers' stand was epic, repelling assaults with bayonets and bazookas. They're nuts. Echoing defiance. Yet without Third Army's thunder, Bastogne would have fallen, its roads fueling Hitler's dream. Fighting raged on. Germans clawed back, but the Bulge's momentum died. By January, Allied counterpunches flattened it. Eisenhower toured the rubble on the 14th, pinning stars on heroes like McAuliffe. Patton beamed amid the ceremony, Bradley at his side. Later, in a quiet moment, Bradley confided, "This was the war's most brilliant stroke. George history will dissect it forever." High praise from the reserve Bradley, who in memoirs called it Patton's finest hour, a whirlwind of speed and fury that showcased American adaptability. The saga lingered in Bradley's reflections post-war. In A Soldier's Story, he dissected the magic, Patton's foresight in prepping plans, his staff's wizardry with logistics, the troops' endurance in Arctic agony. Risks abounded, exposed flanks, invited disaster, but Patton's calculus paid off. Velocity trumped perfection, snatching initiative from stunned foes. Psychologically, it crushed German morale, diverting reserves from their spearhead. For Patton, redemption after scandals. For Bradley, vindication in backing his fiery subordinate. Together, Bastogne symbolized unbreakable spirit, the 101st's siege heroism fused with Third Army's rescue dash, proving allies could outmaneuver, outfight, and outlast the Reich's dying gasp. Generations of strategists pore over it. How audacity, preparation, and raw courage flipped calamity into triumph in winter's cruel grip.